Hi there, good morning. My name is Albert Johnson Ofori, and my topic is enhancing integration and support in data spheres. Introducing the topic. There are so many issues that we face when we are trying to upload the data onto a system. So we are going to look at how possible best we can address these problems. And therefore, we are going to look at how to improve the integration processes and support system in our company. So I decided to divide the topic into two different parts. So we have the first part, which is troubleshooting and implementing best practice in DataSphere. And the second part is core handling, platform transition, and automation with chatbots. With troubleshooting, this is whereby we make some little mistakes that can't help us to upload our data. So we look at the data consistency. The data consistency is whereby the, the spreadsheet is being structured. How is it structured? And what is the format of each column, which we have to put in, we have to look at. So we look at the data consistency, column format, empty lines, error logs. So we have to look at all this to avoid these problems. Looking at the column format and data types, it's whereby a column with number cannot have a text in it, so as a column with text cannot have a number in it. So we cannot also have empty lines or spaces in between the row in rows, so as in columns. This will interfere with loading because they cannot be uploaded directly, or they cannot be uploaded without a problem. They can actually create problems whereby we will find ourselves in a big problem. So we have to try and avoid all empty spaces in columns and in rows. Here is the cautions that we have to make when we are trying to upload a data onto a system. So we have to authenticate. We have to authenticate the data. We have to look at the file size. We have to look at the logs. We have to look at the synchronization. So with the authentication, we have to make use of authentication to integrate with the spreadsheets and to make sure that the file we are trying to import has the proper permissions. If not, it's not going to be uploaded. We have to also look at the file size. We have to review these file size limits, because a file with 100 kilobytes cannot occupy a space with 50 kilobytes, and that will make the system slow, or it will possibly now upload. So to solve this, it is better we split the files, or we split the files into smaller files and upload them, and also remove all unnecessary data. And we have to also download and check the error logs. The error logs help us to know what is happening. For example, you access the platform, then you go to the collection pipeline where the error occurred. Then on the dashboard, you click on Run Logs, download the error, you will download the error log, and you check for specific message that indicates the reason for the failure. And with the synchronization is whereby we update the pipelines. And whereby we update the pipelines, we have to make sure that we configure and capture the latest version of the file at the time of import, so that it can be compatible with this company system. So with the fourth line, which is the transitioning to a new platform with SSO and user life cycle. This is whereby we are going to move or we are going to integrate the processing, integrate the process and a support system. So what are we to do? We have to inform, we have to make a technical evaluation to verify the impact of these changes, and we have to make sure that we communicate this to the customers. This will inform the customers of the impending upgrade by providing general details and preliminary timelines. So we have to you have to also send emails, explain to the customers and tell them the benefits and the security that they are going to have on the platform. So with whatever happens, they will know that there's going to be a very good change that will bring an improvement and an overall experience. So with all this, we have to we have to inform the customers and we have to change schedule information. We have to warn the customers of any plan downtime and also initial recommendations to prepare systems and user for the new SSO. Now, communicating. That's what I started talking about from the start. So the initial announcement is whereby we send them emails, we give them a notification for them to know, and then we come to the phase. So we come to the phase two. The phase two is whereby um, the test and preparation occurs. The test and preparation. So to conduct tests with selected customers and provide detailed guidance. This will help them to know what we are doing. So with this, how do we experiment it? So we have to invite some group of customers so that they can practice or they can use the pilot test program for the new SSO system so that we can know if there are loopholes or there are some defaults at some places. This will also help to know what we are doing and the potentials that will generally help. It will also help us to identify potential issues before the general release. Now with the phase 3, implementation with real-time support. This will also this will also ensure a smooth transitioning during launch and provide real-time support to the customers. So during this transition, what the company is to do is to dedicate support, is to offer the maximum support to provide customer care to these customers so that they can help them and monitor them and also get feedback from them to and get feedback from them to to know what to do and the problems to be corrected. So this could be through emails, through phones, or through the customer timelines. And then it is also advisable to monitor the platform and to monitor the platform's performance, because if it becomes really slow, then it means there is a problem. During the during implementation, seek proactive feedback from customers to identify and correct potential failures. And now with the phase 4, here we are to ensure that the transition was successful and that customers feel comfortable with the new platform, and they can interact with the platform. So what we are to do is to send a satisfaction survey to measure the impact of the upgrade and identify future improvements. This will also help in knowing where we fall short, where we are going, where what the improvement that came on board. Now, let's look at here the impact of change on the data collection. The impact of change on the data collection process. Upgrading to a new Upgrading to a new directory management and SSO system may affect the process described in the previous case of importing data via pipeline, especially if the integration with Google Sheets or the spreadsheet depends on the current authentication method. With the introduction of OH&S, the following precautions should be considered, which are credential configuration, permission, and monitoring. So looking at the credential configuration, this is where the customers are to upgrade their Google Sheets or their spreadsheet to be compatible with the company's platform so that they can get easily access or upload easily their data onto their platform. Permissions on their spreadsheet or Google Sheet should also be allowed. Should be allowed to read and write, and to also be automated. If the user life cycle is automated, then read and write data permissions for the users and in external APIs need to be maintained and adapted to the new system to avoid import errors. Monitoring. Here it is important. It is important for the customers to know how to cope with the new system, to know how to authenticate, to avoid failures, and to also to know how to import with the necessary um, permissions and compatibility, because with these problems the data cannot be updated, the data cannot be uploaded onto the system, which will bring a failure to the import or the importation of the data. Now with slide 7, we are going to talk about the chatbot implementation with artificial intelligence. Why this? This is to reduce the wait time and automated response to common issues. So it is good to use this to solve common problems and also authenticate the assistance. This will also help in setting up authentication and access permission, because there are so many issues that need to be addressed by there are so many issues that needs to be addressed, looking at reduce wait time, authenticate wizard, and solving solving common problems. Also, queries in logs. The chatbot can help users assess and interpret error logs, reducing the time spent diagnosing problems. It can also be it can also identify usage patterns and suggest proactive resources or alerts on potential issues such as pipeline failure or the need for reconfiguration, that is proactivity. Now, knowledge-based integration and automation are to be trained to have um, the necessary requirements to diagnose into the company's documents and to give a detailed response to the customer, because the customers needs quick response, which will also help in providing a very good customer service to the customer. Then it also help in, there should be a continuous update. There should be a continuous update. It should also be it should also be able to diagnose problems and supply the necessary information to the customer. Therefore, it needs to be updated and it needs to be upgraded anytime so that the customers can get access to information, to new informations, new updates, so that the system can run flexibly and they can also interact with the system or the platform. Now, the chatbot feedback and continuous improvement. Here, collecting feedback on the effectiveness of the chatbot and continuous tuning with machine, learning to improve accuracy, test with a select group of customers before expanding to all. This is whereby you use the you use the new system, the implementation of the new system to 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 communicate. You use it to test a few customers to know how effective this is. If it's proof to give out good results, it gives us um, correct answers, the accuracy, the speed in which the response of this chatbot is can also improve the continuous the continuous usage of it. Therefore, a few customers can have a test of it, then the company will know what to do if really needs to be improved before implementation or if it is okay to be implemented. Now, I have this fluxogram which talks about how the user communicates with the chatbot and with the human support. Here we have the user. The user make make a phone call to solve a problem. So the chatbot receives the message. When the chatbot receives the message, it goes straight to the documentation. It it searches the documentation, and when it does not get the right response or it does not get the response, it goes back it it goes back to the human, it goes back to the machine. It goes back to the machine and the machine to the human support. The human support will receive the message and communicate directly to the to the to the user. Now we have the Python code which I use to program a pie chart with my SQL, the query SQL. So here we have the sample data and the sample data of the month and year with this means 10 months, and we have the total sales of these months. So here we extract the month's name and sales values. So we have the month's name, we have the sales value, then how to create the pie chart. So it's plot figure as it goes on. Then here we have the query SQL, whereby we select format from the order date. Then we select from group by, added by, and with a limit of 10. So now the conclusion. In general, I conclude that implementation of a new system or upgrading a new system is it's a bit tedious, but I think it is a very good initiative because it always brings improvement into improvement in the company due to the customer service issues, so that customers can get access to information as quick as they want. They can get access to whatever information that they need. And with this, we have to upgrade our chatbots. We have to upgrade our chatbots so that in they can always be in gear. They can always be current to provide the necessary information to the customer. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for having me. Good afternoon.